walked in the place, sat by the bar, all the drinks on me, don't go too far, sitting by the bartender, asked her.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And we here on 910 Sports Podcast once again. First and foremost, want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here to have another great show. You know what I mean, and do our thing and have on great guests and to be able to interview and tell their story. So secondly, I want to introduce, you know what I'm saying, my right to my left hand man, you know what I'm saying, your baby mama's favorite radio host, you know what I'm saying, Jacob the great. What's going on, man, player? I'm not sure if he can hear me. So, so yeah, he having a little technical difficulty on his side. So, can you hear me, Coach Paige?
I can.
Okay. So, so basically today, y'all, we got like an all around type of guy, man. He a strength and conditioning coach. He deals with AAU sports and does a lot of teaching and mentoring and helping kids be able to get themselves on track with their grades and things of that nature. Get them seen and get them, help them develop so they can go to the next level. So today, y'all, we got Coach Randy Paige in the building. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm blessed. How are y'all?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so Jacob, you back up yet? So I think he's still stalled out. But so kind of give us your backstory. Like, tell us like how you got started. Like, was it a childhood thing where basically where you like when
Okay.
you start youth sports and all that kind of stuff. So kind of tell us what your beginning story is before we get into what you're doing now.
Okay, for me, I'm originally from a small town called Latta, South Carolina. For people that's not familiar
What's
with, that's
happening? What's
about
happening? What's happening, man? Once again, we back on now on the sports podcast. You can't hear?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Okay, so once again, man, we back on now on the sports podcast, man. Bring you the best of sports media and interviewing some of the most influential people from around the globe. So, man, welcome, man. I'm glad to be on the show once again, man. Another day, another choice, another lesson, another blessing. You already know how it go.
Okay. So I had already introduced Randy, so Coach Page, so he's gonna tell us his beginning story, and then you start getting to the questions. But he's gonna go ahead and tell us how he got started in sports as a youth.
okay. Well, for me, like I said, I grew up in a small community, small town called Latta, South Carolina. For most people that are not familiar with it, it's about 50 minutes to an hour west of Alberta Beach. Like I said, I grew up in a small community of roughly about 1,700 people. But I also grew up in a family full of athletes. So it's something that just didn't start with me. Had older cousins, uncles that have played and participated in sports, and those are the people that I kind of emulated and learned some things from when it comes to being an athlete. For me, played sports my whole life, basketball, football, and even in my younger years, soccer and baseball as well. But once I got to middle school, that's when I started concentrating on the two main sports, which is basketball and football. Uh, Played all throughout middle school, all throughout high school. Got to high school, was fortunate enough to play on some great football and basketball teams. Won some conference titles, played on a team that won a conference title for the first time in close to 30 years, at the program. So that was something that was special and unique in itself. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to have great teammates, great upperclassmen when it came to leadership and stuff like that. And I know for me growing up, I just wanted to follow their lead, and I knew that they were going to tell me and show me the right way to go about doing things. So I just wanted to take heed to the stuff they was telling me. So, but good, like I said, man, just fortunate enough to throw some great teams and had a little big success individually. Had opportunities to uh, at least be recruited by a lot of big programs, but this is where uh, the older version of Coach Page or Randy or whoever you want to call me comes into play because now I'm at a point now to where I can show kids and even younger adults to make sure they don't make the same mistakes that I made. I was good enough athletically to play in college, but I didn't qualify academically. So uh, I guess you could say that was kind of the lesser of two evils. But it was a learning it was a great learning experience for me. I learned a lot in the process, and the one thing you learn as you get older is God don't make mistakes. So you have two paths that you can take in life. You can allow it to define you, or you can use it to create better situations not only for yourself but for others as well. So I'm fortunate enough to be in a position I'm in now. Coaching AAU, AAU boys and girls basketball. I have several years of experience coaching at the various levels from middle school up until the varsity level as well. So I guess you could say I have my hand in a wide variety of sports.
Okay, so basically, this is what I want to ask you. Ask you these questions because when you say AAU basketball, and I'm not, I wouldn't put it on one coach, one system, one anything. But this is kind of question, the curiosity I got that kills the cat type question. We see now in basketball, the NBA, especially landscape, where everybody wants to be Steph Curry. So your philosophy of coaching a team, are you still one of those coaches that try to teach the fundamentals of the game or whatever, and the inside out game, or are you like more like pushing them towards to be the Steph Curry type style where everybody come and launches from 30 feet in. You know what I mean? So kind of
You know
tell
the
us.
the funny the funny thing about that is I'm learning as I've gotten older to it's okay to be able to blend both. Because for me, I'm always going to be old school because regardless of how shiny things look when it comes to behind the back passes or being able to shoot threes from half court and all that type of stuff, at the end of the day, if you still do the little things well, you can look up at the scoreboard at the end of the game, you still have a chance to win. So that those things are never going to change.
Hmm. Okay. So what kind of style player do you look for when you put together your team each year? Because I know you probably got kids coming in and out. You got some mainstays that probably play for you a couple of years. What type of players do you look to kind of put together your I can say perfect team, but about as close to perfect team that you could have?
Well, the ideal team for me would be a team that's interchangeable. I love to evaluate and recruit length. Um, because I want kids to be able to switch 1 through 5, even if DB, because that's where things are kind of trending towards now. So, but versatility on both ends of the court. But I think just as importantly too, you have to be able to uh, get along with each other to a certain extent off the court. Now, does that necessarily mean you have to be best friends? No, but you have to because for me, I've one of the things that I took pride in, even as a student athlete myself, was those lifelong relationships that were built with my teammates and even coaching, even coaches and even people in the community, and those fundamental principles haven't changed. We want all our teams to look at each other as like brothers or sisters, and build those relationships that are going to last, well beyond your playing days. And that blueprint uh, worked for us when we were in school. And it's still holding true to this day. So
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'll send it over to Jacob after this. So when it comes to like the parents and being involved in the community with the kids that you're coaching, has it been a good experience? Has it been frustrating? What's your relationship with the parents of these kids?
well, I think that the unique thing about that question is, people be under the impression that simply because the time and the days on the calendar change, that everything has changed. Parents are still the same when it was when, even when you and I were in school, or even before then. Everybody's child is going to the NBA, or going to the NFL, or whatever the situation is. And the reality is that's not the case. There's nothing wrong with you having expectation for your kids. You're supposed to. But also at the same time, too, there has to come a point in time where you have to be realistic with yourself as well. Everybody's not going to play the same amount of minutes. Everybody's not going to play Division 1 basketball. There are some that can be great at playing Division 2, Division 3, NAI, and JUCO. There's all different levels, but everybody's not going to be the same type of person, not going to be the same type of player. And the parents, they're going to have to understand that. Now, I've seen situations where parents have gotten out of control, like from a physical standpoint. I mean, but to a certain extent, that's kind of to be expected, because in your mind, you want what's best for your child. Now, you think most of the time that you do know, but that ain't always the case. But you have to take the good with the bad.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, Jacob, you got some. I know you got some questions.
Yeah. But I just want to get back to Steph Curry, and everybody wants to be
You breaking up? Yeah, you breaking up. You breaking up. Yeah, you breaking up real bad. um. So give him a second to get his stuff together. Um.
Okay.
So so basically, okay. So when it comes to that you say in the beginning, you talking about how you wasn't highly recruited, and you had to go through some pitfalls or some up and downs to get where you at,
Right.
just in your life, your story. So do you feel like that helps you, hinders you, or whatever when it comes to when you're talking to these parents, when you're talking to the kids about your story, to say, just because, I wasn't highly recruited, I didn't have all all everybody come knocking at my door, but I'm still here doing what I'm doing, to get you to your next step, so I understand what you're going through. So how does that help you, hinder you? What's the whole story behind that?
Be honest, that's a great question. And to be honest, um, it was the perfect storm for me, because when you going through it initially, you probably feel every type of emotion that you could feel. But like I said, with me being where I'm at right now in my life, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because, like you said, you can. And one thing you've learned too, dealing with parents and even kids, they'll appreciate you more if you're honest with them. So they don't ever have to worry about me sitting here having to sell them on the dream, because I can sit here and tell them, if you make this decision, this is what's going to happen to you, because I've lived it and I've done it. You know what I'm saying? So it's the perfect storm, like I said, because all I really have to do is just be honest with them, and just paint a clear picture, uh, without blowing smoke, so to speak. And the kids and the parents, they'll appreciate that.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, Jake. It's like you good to go. Okay. Still can't hear me. Jacob, you good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we hear you now. Go ahead.
So what you said about Steph Curry earlier, man. Uh, um, I think kids nowadays play way out of position. Everybody want to make you shoot threes. I mean, you can
Right.
practice them, man, but I feel like coaches don't even have an or the organization that they're handling. I think they don't have it in. They don't say, well, no, that's not your position. You don't shoot threes. You know, you're not that type of ball player. You're you, you're on the block, low post ball player. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they just let kids do anything they want to do. So when you do that, you don't have no balance on your team. And so you you got people now 7-2 shooting 3-pointers, and they think they more of a guard than they are a power forward. I think that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like man, you 6'11", and if somebody if they whistle on you, you'll fall down. You just as fragile as some northern bathroom tissue. But you want to shoot threes. Like no inside presence, no offensive rebounds, no defensive rebounds, man. You know, man, you got these dudes out there now. Their little sister take a charge before they will. Sad. That's just my theory on
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you because I'm a defensive guy myself. So, and I always preach and stress that too, man, because, you know, I, I can use the football analogy. All of us, we like to watch teams that can get up and score 50 and 60 points. But with me being a defensive guy, I don't mind watching a 17-10 football game.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, since you mentioned football, and then we'll get back to the basketball, who squad?
At which level?
Professional.
To be honest,
NFL.
man. Okay. Well, we're gonna start the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens. This is one thing you're gonna learn about me quick. My teams are kind of mirror each other because if you go from NFL to college, I'm gonna say the Miami Hurricanes. They be like, "Why are you a Hurricanes fan?" I'm a Hurricanes fan because of Ray Lewis and all the people that played beforehand, and I became a Baltimore fan because of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. Those two teams are always going to be
Now,
parallel for me when it comes to that. If you ask me
now,
personally,
now, coach.
I'm gonna say this: you look like a Dallas Cowgirls fan.
You better believe
Right.
it.
Hey, right.
But you can say that all you want. But if it wasn't for us, y'all wouldn't be playing no football because we had to sign for y'all to get in there. For real, for real.
Look, man. At the end of the day, you
And look,
was
man,
somebody. Somebody.
Coach Page, I know better than that, man. Because you was watching football way before the Baltimore Ravens ain't really even been around that long. But you a Ravens fan, I can't talk to you about no football ever, ever.
I am a diehard Ravens fan.
Man,
I'm gonna take it a step.
no.
I'm gonna take it a step
Anybody
further with you.
that's a Ravens fan, a Carolina Panthers fan, a Texans fan, I can't talk football with them because y'all ain't been around long enough. It makes no sense.
You know what? I'm gonna give you that, but I'm gonna say this though. The only reason you are a Dallas Cowgirls fan is because if somebody older in your family was a Cowgirls fan, and it
No,
trickled down to
no.
you. Now tell me
Actually
I'm
not,
wrong.
bro. Actually not. My pops was a Redskins fan. My mama Redskins fan. My brother's a Bears fan. My baby
Oh,
brother is a Cowboys fan, and my middle brother is a Chicago Bears fan. Not. I'm a Cowboys fan
oh
because
yeah, yeah.
when I was a young boy, I seen a fella by the name of Tony Dorsett run it back for 101 yards, and that's the rest history.
Oh yeah. You grew up in a house divided, so I already know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm right up the street from you because I'm a Washington fan, but I'm also a Miami Hurricane fan, huge Miami. But mine go back rooted way back before you. I was a Miami Hurricane fan back in the '80s when they was wearing the little tank top shirts or whatever. You know what I'm saying, or whatever you want to call it. I was a fan back then. Like we talking
I
about
mean,
Michael,
I can respect you being a Redskins fan. But
you know
the
what I mean? Like
old counter trouble with Joe
oh
Gibbs.
yeah, yeah. And then I've been a Redskins fan since Joe Gibbs, Joe Theismann. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
John Rick. But I'm gonna tell you why. Well, the main reason was because regionally, I'm from North Carolina. Regionally, that was the team that they showed every weekend was Redskins or the Cowboys. So Redskins was I don't know if you remember back in the '80s when they would make a touchdown and all of them would get in a circle and they would jump in the air and do the high five. So that was like exciting me.
I seen the highlights. Yeah, I did.
That was exciting as a kid to see that. So that drew me in. And I want to say something about Latson, South Carolina. Believe it or not, I go there at least. I used to when I used to move vehicles. I used to go down there to the that spot where we used to go get the Amazon trucks and vans down there in
Okay.
Latson. I go down there about 4 or 5 times a year to go get a van and a Sprinter or whatever, and take not an Amazon, FedEx, the FedEx Sprinters, and I would take them cross country or whatever, take them around the country. So I know all about Lassiter, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I've been down there a lot, hot. So I know about Lassiter.
That's just like you. That's like walking around saying you a Saluda Tiger fan, man. You can't do that.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, man. Stop it. I mean, but I can understand, man, because people from down y'all way hate all the time. So I understand. I understand. I understand, man. You know, like y'all ain't really had that much to be proud of, you know. So I can understand, man. It's cool, man. But you better not let me see. You better not let me see you got nobody 6'8" shooting on 3-pointers, though. If you do, I'm gonna fight your head off. Yeah, I'm gonna fight your head off.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I enjoy watching Saluda play, man. I ain't got no love for Saluda, man. Like that, because that's one of the few schools that can compete with some of these schools that's always playing in the state championship game. It's always good to see some new blood every now and then.
Yeah, you right. You know, we was down for a little while, man, but they finally got the program together, man. But man, we ain't got good coaches. I'm gonna tell you that now. The last championship we won, that was like what 2018. That was won off pure talent, raw talent. Boys that got in the backyard and played football with their daddies and their uncles. Facts.
Right.
It definitely,
Right. Yeah.
it definitely wasn't coaching. And see, that's the thing that these youngins nowadays don't know about, man. We used to play something called Bad Man Pick It Up. Yeah. And whoever picked the football up, either you gonna get hit and take that pounding, or you gonna be one of the fastest dudes in the neighborhood where can't nobody catch you. You know what I'm saying?
What you call it?
But see that's
Batman Pick It Up.
Okay, we call ours now for all the fans, all the people that's listening. We called it back in the day. This is not what we called it now. But we used to call it Smitter Quill. That's what we called it back in the day. You know what I mean?
Y'all call it what?
Smitter Quill. Yep, that's what we called it back in the day.
You know what, man? I got to be more careful. I got to be more careful.
I don't know what they call it.
Good God Almighty, man.
But that's what we call it in the middle school, high school days. So we talking about 80s and 90s.
We called it sandlot football.
You call it what?
We called it sandlot football.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jacob, man, I'm gonna tell you why it was like that. But that was also during the time period where your parents sent you outside and you didn't come back in until the lights came on.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell us about
the time when you
go ahead.
When you couldn't sit. The time when you couldn't sit in grown folks' face, you had to go outside and play, and those are the times where everybody in the neighborhood played together. Wherever the bicycles was, that's where everybody was playing ball at.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us more about the football program. Tell us more about the football side of things. So we kind of discussed the basketball. So tell us a little bit about your football. Like, what's your philosophy in the football? You like your running game? You like to pass all over the lot? What you like doing?
Well, that goes back to what I said earlier, man. I still have a lot of old school principles, man. For me, I see everybody running the spread now. If I was a head coach right now, I probably it would be a mixture. I would use some spread concepts, but I would also use some wing T, power I formations, man. Like I'm an old school dude. Like I'll spread you out, and just run the football the whole game. I still want to run the football. I miss those days of having a fullback that's like 6'2", 220 pounds, you could just give him the football on 4th and 1. You don't have that now.
Mm-hmm. So we'll stop right there for a second,
You
because
know.
so we can get
Okay.
stop right there for a second. So
Yeah.
it's a big deal in the NFL with this running back market. You know what I'm saying? And being that you kind of old school, want to run the
Oh, yeah,
ball,
definitely.
what's your opinion on that? 'Cause that's it saddens me, man. I'm hurt for them brothers.
Well, I'm gonna take it a step further. I think the running back position is going to be extinct within the next 5 years.
Mm, mm.
And
Now,
won't nobody watch football
why you say that?
because I won't watch it no more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's almost like it's a crime for you to line up in an I formation and run the football, man. Like that ain't gonna never change when it come to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and the reason why, what, I kind of agree with you almost, because I
Because think
said,
about this. Why not run the football? You got Derrick Henry lined up in the backfield. Who's gonna stop that?
yeah, yeah. But see, I kind of agree with you, Coach, on that. And the reason why is because, and you'll know faster than everybody else. You have a first row seat on it, because you'll see kids come up through your program to be like, I'm not playing running back, because I know if I go to NFL, I may get one contract and I'm done. Like, I ain't gonna, there's no longevity in me playing a running back, so I might move to safety or wide receiver or something else, because the running back game, game is out the door. The market is out the door. So you'll probably see it faster than everybody else.
Or they might not. They might get to high school, get to the 10th grade after they play JV, and tell their dad, "I don't want to play running back no more, pops." And he might say, "Why?" He said, "Because the dude that's punting the ball or or kicking the ball off to our opponents, they make more than the running back in the NFL."
Mm, which is sad. And they a part-time player. You know what I
Nah,
mean?
all of those are great points.
Hmm.
He
Sad,
froze
man.
up on.
It's pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sad. So,
Need that running
so
game.
right, right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
It's just like the Cowboys. Like, yeah, I'm a diehard fan. That's my squad. But Jerry, Steven, and Charlotte got to be the three dumb stooges, not three stooges, the dumb stooges. Because the only reason why Pollard was able to get off like that, because uh, Elliott is the one who took the bruises from the linebackers and took the bruises, you know, from the defensive tackles from the nose guard. And so by the time they got through bruising Elliott, and Pollard come through with the shiftiness and the swiftness and the finesse, you know, he had already took the pounding, so he can do that. So you need a power back and you need a finesse back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and so popular to what people might say that he washed up. No, bro. No, he's not an every down back. But when you don't have nobody doing those crunch situations when it's 3rd and 2 and
Mm-hmm.
you need somebody to go through that hole that don't mind taking a hit, that can go head on head with a linebacker or with a nose guard or a defensive tackle. Pollard ain't gonna be able to do that, bro. Pollard, he
No,
can't take that
no,
beating.
no, nah. But see that goes back to the other elements when it comes to organizations. It goes back to the Department of Player Personnel and scouting and stuff like that. Those scouts got to be able to go out there and find people. If you can, you should be able to go out there and find a running back on the cheap that is hungry to be on the NFL roster. And like you said, that can get you those 2 or 3 yards every now and then and give your other running backs a blow. You have to do it.
Yeah. For sure, man. And so I just think with the whole cause I've been hearing all these old school running backs speak up like Marshall Faulk, like Emmett, you know, like Barry, Thurman Thomas, and they was like the NFL is going crazy, man, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody and Thurman Thomas talked about the three setback, where you got your running back, your fullback, and your wing back, and they talked about how effective it was, and now you want to give these QBs all this money, man, but Josh Allen's supposed to be top five, and he only been in the league 4 or 5 years, and he's already thrown 57 interceptions. Stop it, man. Top five with who?
Mhm.
Stop. That's almost 60
And I'm matter of
interceptions in
fact,
5 years.
I'm gonna hit home with this point too. Think about a lot of these high school programs in our state that's consistently playing for and winning state titles. What's another common thing with them? They keep 5 or 6 in the stash of stable of running backs. Man, look at Abbeville. Abbeville, you don't even know who's gonna get the ball every play.
Mm-hmm.
No, man.
You
Abbeville, listen,
know,
man. I, I graduated in 93, right? And so Abbeville has had a consistent 5 rotation back.
exactly,
Even when
exactly.
my uncle Tony graduated in 1983, bro. He said that Abbeville has had a consistent 5 back rotation forever, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even locally for us, playing Lakeview. Lakeview has probably one of the strongest traditions in the state of South Carolina. For them to have such a small school, they always have 4 or 5 guys that can run the football. And you look up, you're like, man, look, they wearing us down because a different person touching the ball, man. Like when you got that, you always have a chance. You should like your chances.
Man, it's just like when you, like you said, man, when you got that many people touching the ball in one game, man, that that killer defense, man. That killer defense. You know what I mean? That way one person ain't running like a dog. You constantly rotating them boys. And then you talking about Abbeville may have 4 backs, man, and all of them got about 800-900 yards rushing for the year.
Exactly.
In a high
Exactly.
school, man, 4 backs with 800-900 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of running.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And the funny thing is you get and and you look at their playing style and then they take their helmets off, you was swapping down. That same running back was at another high school the week before. You like, man, weren't you playing with somebody else last week? How you get to Abbeville this week?
Yeah,
Oh
you right,
wow.
man. You right, man.
So
And
let me
and
ask you.
so
Go
so
ahead.
I come before you mention this, man. I want to mention this right here, man, and I'm gonna say this right here, man. Running backs come in all shapes, sizes, and stuff like that, man. And so
Right.
I want to mention one running back that used to give the Cowboys hell. Fella by the name of Joe Morris that played for the New York Giants. Joe
Okay.
Morris was this little dude, low to the ground, looked like he got some pro kids cleats on, and but boy, when I tell you, man, fast, shifty, you couldn't catch him, ran low to the ground, man, like he was Barry before Barry, if you ask me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he used to get Washington
Right.
held.
Yeah, Joe Morris, bro, he's bad, man.
Oh
Tough.
yeah.
I couldn't did him and his brother make the NFL?
Yeah, Jamie played for Washington. Matter of fact, Jamie was on the team. I want to say the '87 team that won the championship. That was our
Okay.
lead in '87 for Washington was Jamie Morris.
Okay.
I mean, so he was like I know he wasn't the lead back. He was at least the like the third down back. But yeah,
Right.
but he was on our championship team.
Right. And Joe won them 2 championships with Phil Simms. LT, Phil Sims, and
Mm-hmm.
all them boys. You know what I mean?
86 and 90.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
man.
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to switch positions. For me, growing up, one of my favorite players was at the quarterback position, the late '80s, and he played quarterback at West Virginia.
West Virginia. Late 80s, West Virginia.
Major Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you went back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that name. I remember
Yeah.
that name.
Man, I'm telling you, the first couple of times I watched him play, I was like, yo, I want to be like Major Harris, man. Like, and I know a lot of the younger group, the younger generation never heard of him, man, but he was, for me, and I'll tell people this story all the time, like, he was Michael Vick before Michael Vick.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I could
He
buy it.
was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I get into these conversations all the time, man, you know, with a lot of people, and they won't necessarily agree with it, but and I don't have no dog in the fight, but I always tell people, man, the best quarterback that ever came out of the state of South Carolina was Tony Rice. But they, you know, they got different opinions.
Ooh,
So
Oh, that's
ooh,
facts. That's facts, bro. The
ooh.
state.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh
people
yeah.
people forget about Tony Rice. Tony Rice was a beast.
Right, yeah. He's the best quarterback to come out of this state.
Okay. Oh, he from
And
South
see, and
Carolina?
see, and see with that,
Yes, sir.
yeah, he from Woodruff.
Okay. Okay. I
And,
ain't
and
know.
just think about it though, y'all too. You know, moving forward, like y'all can invite a couple more people on here, man. That could be like an 8 hour conversation, just that in itself.
Oh yeah,
What
Tony
about
Rice. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, definitely. I want that. Well, let me ask you this question. So, to pivot just a little bit, what do you feel about the whole college football alignment? Because they were saying today earlier, they were saying all week, it's getting so bad now, or however you want to look at it, bad or good, that it only may end up being with two major conferences left in college football by the end of the day.
that ain't gonna happen, man. That ain't gonna happen. Because that would make no sense, man. That would make no sense to have only two major conferences in college football. Division one college football? Nah, bro.
Well, I mean, it may not make sense, but the reason why it may happen, because you got to think, what are they about to do? They about to have a 12-team tournament. I think it's going to be bigger than that before too long because it's going to be too much money involved. So I think it's going to go from
You
12
talking about
to
you talking about college football?
yeah,
Yeah, we talking
it's
about
going
college football.
yeah. Well,
And you know what? Because they maybe two or three. What do they call it?
That don't make no sense to move Clemson or Florida State to the Big Ten. That's dumb.
that's what because they talking about moving
And
Washington.
Miami's got a good too.
Yeah, Miami might be moving. Florida State, Washington, Oregon might be going to the Big Ten. So I mean,
Yep,
the what?
Washington, Oregon.
Yeah, because Florida
Money
State.
to dictate all that stuff, but
But it's gonna make it so uninteresting to watch, though, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Because
gonna
but
make
see,
it.
part of it is Florida State saying that they don't see no road, no path with them staying in the ACC because I guess the way the money's split, they saying the
right.
revenue is not in their favor. So basically, they like Florida State, like we don't see no path for us to stay in the ACC because the money ain't
Well,
right.
well,
I mean,
I can tell
I
you this:
can't.
ain't nobody in the ACC gonna make more money than Clemson. So if Florida State think they ever can make much money as Clemson making the ACC, that ain't gonna happen, brother.
But we just talking about football. What about the basketball side too? Look, what about the
I'm
Carolina?
going to say you know why are you willing to get rid of Duke and Carolina? Like you don't get no bigger than that.
They the biggest rivalry, and I looked at this the other day.
In
Carolina and Duke
basketball, bro.
rivalry is the third biggest. It's the third largest rivalry in sports. behind the Red Sox and the Yankees. I forgot the two soccer teams, and then it's Carolina and Duke. Now you know you huge when you right
That
behind soccer teams, and soccer is the largest sport, is the biggest sport in the world, in
I
the
can
most popular
I could go along
world.
with that. You're right. You're absolutely right about that, man. But greed is something else, man. Like this is all about greed, man. This is ain't about these
Exactly.
teams and
Yeah.
their divisions, man. It ain't about that, man. And I know anything, because I'm a Clemson fan. If I know anything about that alumni and them decision makers in that upper deck of Clemson, man, they ain't gonna want to go to no Big Ten, man. They must offer them a
But
whole bunch of money to go to that Big Ten.
but see,
Mm-hmm.
this my thing though, because for us, why are you willing to break up? Think about this. Thanksgiving weekend, you looking at what, Michigan and Ohio State,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State, man, a lot of these rivalries and stuff, man. Because I know for me growing up, yeah, I know y'all can attest to this. Growing up, Thanksgiving weekend, it was always number one Nebraska, number two Oklahoma, or it was switched,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or it was switched. So, and for you to sit here and say, well, money supersedes a Nebraska Oklahoma rivalry and stuff like that, like, come on, man, no.
And then Coach Page, they said if Clemson should go to the Big Ten, that they would no longer play Carolina, the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Really?
There's no way in the
Yeah.
world.
That doesn't make no sense. Like
And
this.
None.
and that's the biggest rivalry in the state of South Carolina, but that's been
In the
national
state, yep.
televised for the last about 55 years, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's crazy. They don't even make. That'd be like Florida and Florida State stop playing because of I mean, they probably still keep playing because they're in different. They've been different conferences forever anyway. Unless Florida State went to like the SEC. I know.
Well, I mean, it's similar to some years back. It probably been a couple of decades ago when Louisville and Kentucky stopped playing in basketball. Why would you do that?
Yeah, yeah, mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. You right.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Carolina Duke rivalry, they play twice a year. So you only gonna have if they in two different divisions or two different conferences, can you still have that twice a year matchup? Everybody, Carolina Duke fans look forward to that the twice a year game. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
That
gonna take it a step further. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
take it a step further with Duke and Carolina. And on most good years, they played each other 4 times in a year, twice during the regular season, once during the ACC tournament, and then somewhere along the lines in the NCAA tournament.
yeah. I know they play at least a lot of times at least time here. And like I said, that's one of the
Yeah.
biggest. Put it like this: I'm a Carolina fan, diehard. Carolina could go 1-30, but if that one win come against Duke, we got bragging rights for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? That 1 or 2 wins come against Duke, especially when we beat them in the Final Four. When we beat them in the Final Four, I tell all Duke fans, y'all can't talk to us for at least 5 years. When we beat y'all in the Final Four, that was enough for me. And if you look at the Duke and Carolina rivalry, I'm gonna tell you how close the rivalry is. The last 100 games, it was a point where they played 100 games over the last whatever many years. The record was 50-50 against each other, and the point differential was even. So basically, it was like, let's say both teams scored 1,720 points, and the record was 50-50 against each other. That's how close that rivalry is. Ain't no rivalry in sport that close.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
I agree. And
Yeah.
I'm a stay with the subject, but I'm gonna switch levels. Think about it at the high school level, because slowly but surely they're starting to get rid of 1A school. So you starting to get rid of all that. Think about this: for the next 10 or 15 years, there may not be a Lakeview or a Johnsonville or a Blackbeard Hill or some of these other schools. Some of these schools are going to be extinct. They're going to be combined with some 2A schools. And think about all those traditions, all that tradition going down the drain too. Could you imagine waking up one day and there's no Richland Northeast and Lower Richland and all that type of stuff? You can't fathom that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel you. That'd be like, cause I'm from North Carolina, and I went to a school called Pinecrest. Our biggest rivalry was Richmond County. You know, Richmond County. Never heard of Richmond County? Richmond County, especially in the '90s, was dominating. They was in the state
Yeah.
championship or close to it every year, either losing or beating Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Because Charlotte Independence back in the '90s and stuff was dominating everybody back in the '90s, and they was
Matter of
winning.
fact, I went to an all state banquet with like three or four of those guys because I remember what was his name? His name was the Rabbit. His name was Michael Waddell.
Okay. He went where, Richmond?
Yeah, he went to Richmond. There was Michael Waddell. They had
That name.
no, I think Mario came after them. You remember Mario Williams?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
man, they was stacked, man. What was it? Coach Barnes coached them.
I think so. Uh-huh. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
outside they had was it Terrell? Oh no, Terrell McIntyre came from Hope County. But he went on to play Clemson for Clemson. Terrell McIntyre, he was real big over there on the
Right. I
Hope.
remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah. So man, I get what you're saying about the whole thing with the, if they get rid of 1A football, and I think like I said, the money is so diluted in the game, and they got so money hungry that they take away the essence of sports and what sports is really about.
Yeah.
It's about the kids, it's about the rivalries, it's about the fans. It's not about your little funky money. Y'all can find ways to make money without tearing down the whole essence and the authenticity. I'm trying to get it out. The authenticity of the game.
So Pinecrest, who was in our region?
You're absolutely right.
4A football. So 4A sports. So Pinecrest would play like Richmond County, Hope County. They would play Cumberland County schools like in Fayetteville. So those schools. So those are schools that Pinecrest play.
But that was the region there was in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because let me see. E. Smith, Pine Forest.
Yeah, we'll play E. Smith.
Jack Britt.
Jack Britt, we'll play them. Yep, Jack Britt. E. Smith.
Okay.
Who else you say?
Yeah. What was the name of that school in the country out there? I didn't know. I think I just said it already. I think it was Pine Forest. That's the school in the country.
Yeah, Pine Forest. That's out there near Fed.
71st.
71st. We'll play them too. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So y'all didn't play any of the smaller schools, did you? Like St. Paul's and all that?
Probably if it might have been like in a tournament or something, but they were not ready.
Yeah, because I think they were like
regular scheduled game every year. You know what I mean? But Richmond County.
Yeah, I think they were two in school.
Like it would start fights every time we played Richmond County in basketball or football. A fight always break out every time. That's how. Because you're talking about
right.
Hope County, that's 20 minutes away, and Rockingham, Richmond area, that's like 20, 30 minutes the other way. So that was all. And all that street stuff will spill in. You get all the street activity. You know what I mean? Because both those
that's true
on crime and the streets and all of that. So you get all that in the mix. So it's really bad.
Did y'all play Anson County too?
Yep, Anson County too. Yep.
Okay.
They was in our conference. Anson County, all the schools in our conference. I don't know about now, but back then all them teams was in our county. I mean, in our conference.
Some of the schools dropped out of 3A, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they probably have. They probably had because Pinecrest football really just got good over the last maybe like 10 years because we was pathetic back then when I went. We had like one decent year.
Who was it? Douglas Bird. Let me see who else.
Yeah. So
y'all play Douglas Bird too?
What are people from?
Yep. Play Douglas Bird too. Yep.
Okay.
What are people from Hamlet went to school at?
Hamlet?
They went to Richmond County.
They probably went to Richmond County, I'm thinking.
You know what? I used to ask that same question too, because Because if I'm not mistaken, now I might be wrong, but it depends if you're a good athlete or not. Because if you're a good enough athlete, Marlboro County was gonna try to find a way to get you too, because they weren't too far from it.
Well, from Hamlet.
Right.
Yep,
Because I know Hamlet and Rockingham is right there close together.
yep,
Yeah, because where I stayed at, Pine Bluff was the city in the county, and then you got Hamlet was the next because Hamlet is right there by the racetrack. You know what I mean?
right,
Right.
yep.
And then you get to Rockingham. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking that Hamlet kids went to Richmond County because I don't know
Most
other
of them did.
that they could have went to,
Most
but
of them did.
when you might have named might have been the one. But
Yeah,
I don't.
I think most of them did go to. Most of them went to Richmond County, but like I said, man, they probably worked out some stuff to where they want to go to Marlboro County. So even though it's probably like 45 minutes away, but still.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about the schools in Moore County was weird because, like I said, I went to Pinecrest and we had like 8 different cities like went to the same high school, which was rare.
Yep.
You don't see that nowadays. But like 8
Now
different.
Marlboro County doing that too.
Yeah. So in those small towns back then, now they've built more high schools, so you got more kids going to different schools and stuff, or more middle schools and stuff like that. But like when I went, it was like it was Southern Pines, Aberdeen, Pinehurst, West
Huh?
End, not Carthage. Carthage went to Union Pines. Um, Jackson Springs. So it was like, yeah, it was about a good 6 or 7 different cities that went to the same high school. So just imagine, like
Uh-huh.
our Pinecrest was a pretty
Hey,
big high
let me
school.
let me ask you a question, man. The college that you grew up near, did they come to your high school and do recruiting?
Who, me or him?
You, Icon.
You said is the question again?
I said the college that's near where you grew up at. Did they come to your high school and do recruiting?
Depending on what you're saying, like Fayetteville State was probably the closest college back then.
No, I ain't talking about Fayetteville State. I'm talking about what's
The
it called?
community college.
Yeah.
Well, they just got a basketball team like 10, 12 years ago. So they just got to that point. They didn't have no sports teams when I was in high school. That the community college didn't have any sports teams. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
sports maybe about 12 years ago. That's why it's amazing that they won so many championships so fast. So that just lets you know how much talent is in that area for them to win state championships on that level. And they won like
Uh-huh.
7 of them. I think they won like 7, 8 in a row. Like, so whoever been coaching them is like the
Like
what's his
8 in a
name
row. Yeah, 8 in a row. Yeah.
yeah, he
That's
like the
why I
what's
asked
the
you that that's why I asked you that, Icon, because they won by 8 in a row. That's why I asked you that.
he's like the community college version of old boy from Connecticut. The coach from Connecticut out there in the college level. He like
Yeah.
that version of him. You know what I mean? So
Well, when you think about it, the blueprint really hadn't changed. Because I'm a Memphis fan in college basketball. When Memphis was at the top, all their players were from Memphis or from their area. When University of Illinois was good, all the Chicago area kids stayed over and went to Illinois. If you keep your kids home, you can win.
okay, so
That's
hold on,
true.
hold on. When you say Memphis fan, cause see, me and Jacob, I don't know how old you are. Me and Jacob go back to the 80s, so we talking about what's my man last name something Lee, not David Lee, something
Oh,
Lee.
you talking about dang, if you would have said I would have said it just now. Yeah, he played in mid-80s.
Yeah. I forgot his
So
first
I'm
name.
He
just
he
I'm
he
just
look
wondering,
he
I'm
looked
just
like an
wondering,
old man in college.
Randy, man, listen, man, something off about you. And I'm gonna tell you why. Listen, bro, like get out of here, man. How you a Memphis fan? Bro, you don't just hear people say, "Oh, well, I'm a Memphis fan" when it comes to college basketball.
Oh yeah, for sure,
But
yeah.
but but you don't just hear that every day. What happened?
I
How
know.
it happened? And when did it happen?
Oh, I'll be glad to break that down for you because you know during my era and during my time, and especially the area that I grew up in, when it comes to college basketball, you either gonna be a Duke fan or a Carolina fan.
That's true.
And
That's
me,
true.
I like going against the grain, so I'm gonna find something different. So I grew up watching Penny Hardaway and all that stuff, man, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a Memphis fan. It just stuck.
Okay.
Okay.
I give you that.
Yeah, cause
It just stuck.
I'm definitely a Carolina Blue fan for sure.
Okay.
I
Okay.
give I give you that. I mean that
But see the thing about it, like I said, my household different. My sister Ohio State fan, football and basketball. Yeah, my brother is a Kentucky Wildcats fan in basketball. My other brother, a Wolverines fan. My
But
dad,
see,
Jo-
I'm
my,
glad you brought those schools up because that was the third program during that time. It was either North Carolina, Duke, or Kentucky. But I'm glad you mentioned those names, man, because I grew up in the era where I was in love with the Fab Five. I was in love with the Flying Illini. They had Marcus Liberty, Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson, all them, man. I fell in love
yeah,
watching them too. But even though I was super young, I remember watching highlights from probably the most well, I would say one of the most exciting teams you probably ever seen was Five Slammer Jammer.
yeah, you talking about Houston? Yeah,
Yeah. But nobody look, I'm
yeah.
gonna tell
And
you,
so
the best college basketball team I ever seen in my own eyes was 1990 UNLV.
yeah. Yeah. I can't disagree with that.
mm,
Disagree with that. As far as seeing with my
mm,
I gotta give you that. I ain't never seen nothing like that before. You know what I mean?
they
Nah,
was
they was
good,
playing
bro.
playing against
But
UNC.
they wasn't five freshmen who kind of wowed everybody in America. The best I seen, man, and if them boys had stayed together for a 4-year run, dog, man, and I'm a Carolina fan, but Webber and them had something different, bro. They had something different, man.
They were trendsetters. I mean, you can't and people have tried to emulate that. You can't emulate that. That's just like
Nah,
a lot of people
nah.
try to emulate MJ. You can't emulate the original.
And while you playing, man, that squad with MJ and Perkins and Blackman and Worthy and Darthy and man, get out of here, man. Like
The
that was
reason
an all
why
star cast, man.
I say that
Come on, man.
you can't the way they were scoring points at a high level, they were scoring in the 120s like they was an NBA team. That's something you can't duplicate. And they weren't shooting threes. They were just running. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, you're right.
that's something you cannot duplicate that. Like it would like nowadays, if a team nowadays, you see how bad college basketball is now. Them teams,
It's
if
horrible.
anybody many points, they shooting up 53s a game. They're not gonna just
Yeah,
be going up that court, just laying the ball up and dunking on everybody.
you're right.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right,
So
man.
that's why I say they different. Because some of them other teams you could put together. Like Duke has had some teams where they've been loaded. Kentucky's been loaded. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But they just never could manifest it into at least one championship. Like that Zion team should have easily won to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And they came
Nah,
up short.
man. That was okay. But man, that team with when uh when Kentucky had Dent and Rhodes and all them players on that team, man, like
That Memphis team.
I think, huh?
You talking about that Memphis team?
I'm talking about Kentucky when they had Richard
Oh,
Denton and all them on there, man.
Derrick Rose. I
When
thought you said Derrick Rose.
when they had what's the name? Not Derrick Rose, but what I think is what name? Roderick Rose and
Oh, they were stacked. That was some
yeah,
illegal stuff they was doing.
that Kentucky team, man.
Now you talking about that '96 team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's one of the best things I've ever seen too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
You know what
and
I'm saying?
then
Oh, you talking
and
about the team that lost to Duke? Or what team you talking about? No, that one team that lost to Duke.
Nah, that '96 team won it all.
yeah, they went
For
out.
who, Kentucky?
Yeah, that's yeah, man.
Who's on that
Derek
team?
Anderson. Man, look, they were so loaded. They had Ron Mercer coming off the bench.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
I
sir.
remember.
Mercer
Yeah,
came off
yeah,
the bench.
yeah.
And
They
then,
had
man,
Mercer
that team,
and Antoine Walker coming off the bench, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember that team. Yeah.
Antoine Walker and Walter McCarty.
Who that tell me what the coach then was. Who was the coach then?
Nah, that was Patino.
Oh,
Yeah, Rick.
Patino.
and,
You know
and,
the funny thing about that is,
and
I'm gonna hit y'all up with some trivia. Who's the two teams that beat Kentucky that year?
man, boy, I jumped my memory. What?
Okay. Was it?
Wow.
I think it wasn't a conference team. Was it out of conference team?
Now it was one of each.
Man, to be honest with you, hey,
So you
Paige, I
say I
don't
would say
remember, man, to be honest with you, bro.
I'm gonna say Louisville, and I'm gonna say Carolina.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you who it was. Matter of fact, they the first team they played them twice. They lost to UMass early in the year with Marcus Camby and Lou Rodell, and then they lost to Mississippi State in the SEC championship game.
Man, you know what, Paige? This ain't no story, man. When you say that name, Lou Rowe, that took me back. I got a
Oh, he's
cousin by
one of my
the name.
favorite
Hey,
players,
listen,
man.
man.
He's one of my favorite
I got a
players.
cousin. I got a cousin by the name of TJ Daniels, man. He about TJ about 6'2", about 250 bench. But he was the shortest center in the conference, right? And so he used to shut people down that was 6'8", 6'9". I'm talking in high school, 6'7". And the old heads started calling him Lou Rowe. And every time, listen, man, every time we go to the game, boy, you got them old heads in his stone. What you gonna do now, Lou Rowe? And people just look like, who the hell is Lou Rowe? So it was just a funny story because he played just like him. So, and people forget about a lot of them players, man. Just like I ain't gonna tell you no story, man. That Syracuse team with Lawrence Moulton was the truth.
Yeah. They was.
Yeah,
They were. He was smooth too.
yeah, man. And I can tell you, when it comes to older people watching basketball, all the older people that I know were Georgetown Hoyas fans. Believe that, bro.
That's understandable.
But
Yeah.
believe that, man. They were
Yeah.
Georgetown Hoyas fans, man. They loved it, John Thompson, boy. Either they were Georgetown Hoya fans or they was with Temple University. For
Yep.
real.
Yep.
Don looked like the Al Cheney.
Yep.
Yep.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That
then
matchup zone, man. He was tough.
and then once Tubby started coaching Kentucky, a lot older, more people start watching Kentucky closely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Let me ask y'all
Yep.
something. What name me a couple of teams that y'all feel like got killed by the injury guys that hurt them. I'm gonna tell you my two teams. My two teams that got hurt by the injury guys that I'm like, man, we never got an opportunity to really see their full potential. Was the team you just named, was Marcus Camby UMass team, and that Hank Gathers team.
Yep.
That's two teams that I felt like
Yeah,
never
there's definitely that.
got hurt by the injury guys, of course, with the Hank Gathers, the untimely death. Those are two teams right there. I said, man, if they would have had a real run, they could have probably won it all.
It's only two
I'm
teams. So what I'm putting like
gonna
this,
tell.
it's only two conferences that I watched growing up. That's the ACC and the Big East.
Yep.
Both was always loaded.
That makes sense. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. This is a third one. Go back to that 2000 Cincinnati team with Kenyon Martin. If he would have never broke his leg, Cincinnati was getting ready to run the table, win that whole thing.
Yeah, because they were undefeated going
But
in,
man,
wasn't it?
I just want to ask y'all this, man. How could them O'Bannon brothers be the ish in college, but when they get to the league, they trash? And when one of them ain't even make it to the league, like Like when did the
That's
hype die
true.
down about the O'Bannon brothers?
Yeah, because Ed made it in. Charles
That's
the one that
true.
didn't make
I
Ed the
agree.
one that
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was like the
yeah,
12th man on the bench.
yeah, man. So
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, that Cincinnati team, man, if Kenyon Martin would have got hurt, they would have been cutting the nets down.
yeah, because I think they was undefeated going in, or like they might have had no more than one loss, but I want to say they were undefeated going into the tournament.
Close,
If I'm not mistaken.
close to
But
it. Yep, close to it. Oh, I got
you right.
another one. I'm glad you brought that up. 1989 Illinois Flying Illini.
Okay, they had.
What's his name? Lowell Hamilton was playing with a sprained ankle. He was playing with one ankle. What's the high flyer they had on the team? He was about 6'5", 6'6", left-handed.
I'm trying to
Oh,
think.
Kenny Battle. Kenny Battle had gotten hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
Kendall Gill had missed like 11 games, man. So if them injuries wouldn't occur, man, I think they would have took it too.
yeah.
So what's the best?
But this one I'm gonna tell you. If Baycott hadn't been hurt on that championship game, they would have won it because Baycott would have averaged about 25 and 19, bro. I promise you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That man look like he's supposed to be in a nursing home.
don't come with Steve. Don't come here talking junk. Steve, that's our other co-host talking about this the AARP show, ain't it? Whatever, man. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. He didn't mad because he don't know nothing
Hey,
about
Steve,
all
man.
these
Hey, Steve.
classic games.
What you need to do,
Classic,
Steve, is just worry about them handicapped Atlanta Falcons. That's what you need to do.
yeah. That's his problem. He don't know nothing about these classic games and classic teams. Because I want to ask y'all next, what was the greatest Final Four performance you ever seen? Off the top of my head, or like more recently, I would say Kemba Walker was one of the best ones I ever seen.
The North
You
Carolina
know
Tar
what?
Heels with I'm gonna say North Carolina Tar Heels with that team with George Lynch. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
take
talking
it a step further. Then
about
who had a greater NCAA tournament run? Kemba Walker or Carmelo Anthony?
Melo, man. Melo.
you know what?
Melo swept. Hey, boy, listen, man. Melo swept through the NCAA tournament, boy, like a damn missile, man. Melo was
And you know
18
what's crazy?
years old, man, and was
I didn't,
playing like he had been in the NBA for 20 years, man.
and that's the crazy part. I didn't
Yeah.
see none of it because I was in the military going through like boot camp and all that school and stuff. So I didn't even care.
Right.
I missed his whole freshman year.
I,
Only thing
I can
I seen
listen, man.
I seen the championship game. That's the only game I seen of Carmelo's college career was his championship game. I heard about him
Melo
throughout the
at season, man.
but yeah. I went to the boot camp through the wrong. I went through the military at the wrong time, basically. I missed his whole college career.
Okay, I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna have y'all thinking on this one. I'm going back to college basketball. Who's the just off a single year? Who was the best team that didn't win a championship that year?
You said in what year?
I said, who was the best team that
Uh,
didn't win the championship that particular year?
The best team that never won that didn't win the championship.
Yep.
Uh,
I think AI had a squad, man, but they just didn't win no championship, man, because he was sweeping through everybody like they was like South meat, boy.
I don't know. I think Kentucky done had a couple of teams like that too. That you would have thought they would have
Yeah,
won.
Kentucky has a couple teams like that.
I'm gonna
I
throw three. I'm gonna throw.
Go far on you before you answer your question. I'm gonna go far. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say the '86 Duke team with
Okay.
Tommy Emerson, Johnny Dawkins,
Yeah.
and them boys.
Yeah.
That's probably the best team that never won a championship before they started winning.
I'm gonna say that team with Kerry Kittles.
I
Yeah,
could
Yeah,
That's a good team.
Villanova.
I'm finna throw off at least 5 of them right off top of the dome. One of the first ones, and a lot of people forget about them.
Can you hear him? I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he'll be back on. I thought it was just me. But yeah. Here we go. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, I said the '88 Oklahoma Sooners with Stacey King and Mookie Blaylock. 1989 Flying Illini. 1983 Houston Cougars. There's definitely some more teams. I'm gonna tell you this. These two are probably a tie. I'm gonna say the '91 UNLV team and the '85 Georgetown Hoya team.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you on all of those. I definitely can do that. I definitely agree with you. But yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with us, man. You know what I mean, and get into it all with all these different sports, because we don't really, get these type of conversations on every show. So it's good to have somebody understand and know sports from back in the day. So but just gotta tell everybody where they can find you at, my man, and how we can keep up with your program and all that kind of good stuff.
Man, just you can reach out to me on Facebook, Randy Paige. If not, man, if you're on Facebook, just join the South Carolina High School Sports Group, man, and just chop it up with all. You just feel free to reach out to me, man, and we can go from there, man. I'm excited. I'm glad that y'all gave me an opportunity to jump on the show, man, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. So before we go,
So man, So I want to say this outcome before we close out. I want to say, the NFL season coming up, and so I'll be reaching out to have you as a special guest co-host.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
So before we get out of here, everybody, tune in for Village Global Network. That's our new network that we on. 8 stations, 144 countries. So please continue to watch us, tune in. If you want to book us for anything, you can hit me up on this for this network. For this show, iConE910sports@gmail.com. That's for bookings or interviews or whatever you want to do. If you want to come on and sponsor the show, whatever, hit me up on those 2 platforms. Follow us at iConE, Instagram at iConE19. And Jacob, what's yours?
King Jacob, 1974.
Okay, so you follow us at those two platforms, and keep supporting, and what I'm saying, everybody have a blessed weekend. We in Kentucky this weekend, cut close, Big V doing big things. So y'all have a blessed and wonderful weekend.
Peace.
I walked in the place, sat by the bar, all the drinks on me, don't go too far, sitting by the bartender.